Indiethon. We are supported by Team 17, who are an independent indie developer and publisher, and have kindly provided us with our awesome grand prize. They recently announced a brand new Metroidvania, The Night Witch, coming to Steam, PlayStation, Xbox and Switch later this year. Visit their website team17.com for their full roster of games and any more information. But without any further ado, this is UnMetal and NickRPGreen.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here at Indiethon. Yeah, I'm showcasing UnMetal. Sadly, the upgrade to hard incentive didn't get met, which, to be honest, is probably going to make for this to be a bit of a smoother, nicer experience. Bit easier to commentate for solo as well, because not quite so much is going on. Before we get started, we have a very, very important thing we have to do first. We have to welcome the lovely Apache Smash to the stream.
Yo, it's Apache Smash. Thanks for entering my code. Let's play UnMetal.
There we go. That's we will hear Apache one more time. Apache is a member of MGSR, and he was instrumental in getting this game in front of the Metal Gear speedrunners crowd, and we had a big event for its launch. And I'm still friends with a couple of the developers of this game. Yeah, it's really good. But let's get started. So new game on easy, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So this game is not affiliated with Metal Gear Solid at all. It is an homage, a parody made by a Spanish developer called UnEpicFran. And as you can see, it's a 2D action stealth game, except in a speedrun, we're not really going to worry too much about the stealth element. We're gonna be going through pretty quickly and trying to get through each room as fast as possible. We're not too worried about stealth, as you see. We're not too worried about stealth. We'll just take it. Now we're gonna get our first little speedrun trick here. It's called the save scum. We can load a save at any point in order to refill Jesse's health box, and also to cancel out alerts like I did just there. So here I'm going to distract this guard. Oh, he spotted me. That's all right. And you might notice sometimes when I kill a guard, I'll get a little star, and that'll go up to my level at the top. This game is sort of part RPG as well. very, very, very loosely RPG. So we do have some crafting to do. We have levels. We have skill points. Very, very, very toned down. Not too over the top. But we'll see more of that sort of later on as we get on. You might notice I'm doing a lot of rolling. Early on in the game, it is faster. It's faster to roll than it is to just run normally. Oh, that guard spotted me, which is absolutely fine. One thing that's really interesting about UnMetal is the level of RNG in this. Every single guard in the game is on a random path. So that guard being there and spotting me, he might not have been there on a different run. He might have been somewhere else. That guard is scripted. We'll always get that guard there like that. I'll grab this potty. Just gonna combine those two items. So we now have a slingshot. I'm gonna keep rolling. Looks like I'm gonna get some XP from this guard. So that little star that appears, we only get XP from any of the guards if we manage to take them out without them spotting us. It doesn't matter whether they call an alert, they call on their radio or anything like that. If they see us, we don't get any experience. And experience is very important. So these two guards here, I'm not going to get any experience from them because both of them spotted me. I've had a bit of a tussle with them. I'll grab some items here, and we're going to go on to the first boss. I'm bleeding out, so I'm just going to save scum there, load that save, and my health is back to normal. This is our first boss. This is Grenade Guy. Grenade Guy is pretty funny. It was very much adored by players. He, as a result, he makes an appearance in every single set of patch notes. At the end of every single set of patch notes, there is some sort of note about Grenade Guy and how he's getting on, what he's doing with his life. So we've leveled up. We're going to take sprint. Your speed increases. Sounds useful in a speed run. So now we don't need to keep rolling everywhere. So long as there are no enemies on the screen, we do not need to roll. We are now faster running. But if there are enemies on the screen, it then becomes quicker to roll because our sprint is reduced whilst there's an enemy on the screen. And we are now coming to the end of chapter 1. There are 10 chapters altogether. That is the end of the first chapter. And as we go into the stage complete screen, we have this really nice scoreboard here with all the times. The developers of the game directly worked with Metal Gear speedrunners to develop the in-game timer. You'll see that it is in the bottom right-hand corner at all times.
I did.
Though it resets for each level, so you now see that we've gone back to 0. But it will add up throughout the entire run and show a final IGT, which is what we use to time the game. It's very, very accurate. It pauses in between chapters. Doesn't pause when we pause the game, which is good. We don't want that. This is the second boss, Roscoe. It's just being a little bit awkward there. As you can see, that some of the mechanics of the bosses are quite interesting. We can't get to him. We can't, he's hiding away. So we're just going to punch this globe at him over and over again. Wait for him to pop up. Now, some bosses are random, some bosses aren't. Sergeant Roscoe there wasn't random. Every single position he went to is exactly the same as he would always go to. But there are some bosses that have a lot of RNG. Grenade Guy, he had a lot of RNG. He could have gone left, he could have gone right. When he stops to throw grenades, changes. And as I say, it's one of the things that makes this run very, very interesting. There's so much RNG, and you have to deal with how you tackle each of those rooms. I'm going to do a little skip here. Deliberately took that damage because in this room here, there are some piranhas. You didn't see them, but that's because when I did that load, when I used the save scum, it resets the rooms. There's a couple of times where we'll load a save deliberately in order to reset cycles to give us more favorable movement. This is the first major skip of the game. It's called Doggo Skip, as you can tell, because we're skipping past a dog. The room before that, what the game wants us to do is to go left, go through about 4 or 5 different rooms with a few different guards, and go and find some meat. There'll just be a big hunk of meat. And we throw the meat down, dog goes and eats the meat, and we then get past without taking any damage. But very early on in this game's routing, it was discovered that if we time our rolls really well, then we can just avoid the dog like that. Take a bit of damage. As you can see, I'm bleeding out at the moment, but I've got plenty of time. I've just got to get to my next save point. I could heal, but healing takes time. We don't want to do that. We just want to get to the next save point, which is right here. Load that save, and we're back to full health again. Gonna have to do the doggo skip on the way back again. And a third roll there. Just wait for that. And now, this one's probably one of the more dangerous times to be on, low health and trying to get to the next save point. Luckily, it's only a couple of screens away. So we're going to roll past it. There's those piranhas that I was talking about. And there's our save. There we go. Okay, we're going to get a secret. There are a bunch of secrets in every single level. We deliberately route to get a few of them. Some of them are really easy to get. Some of them take a bit more time. Gonna avoid those shredders there. We used to route a lot more of them because there's a skip right towards the end of the run, which you need lots of health for. Every time we get that specific secret was a stamina. Every time we get more stamina, then we have more health. So we used to do a trick in the very last chapter of the game, which I'll talk about more later. But it required us getting lots and lots of secrets and lots of stamina. If you didn't know, this game is a comedy game. So yeah, this game is a comedy, but it does hold up as a really good action platformer as well. Let's grab some gasoline there. So the whole thing with that section is Jesse here is he's not a mercenary, he's not a soldier. He's just a dude who's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he just wants to go home. And he's telling the story of how he ended up here to a bunch of people who arrested him. And so the game quite often takes these sort of metaphorical pieces and makes them quite literal. So a moment ago he was asked by who was interrogating him, like, you know, you're in some sewers, there must have been a load of rats down there, and we got the option of none or a lot. And you know, as the player, you might think, oh, if I pick none, that means there's not going to be any rats and I don't have to worry about rats. So we picked none, and Jesse said there weren't any rats, but there were a load of man-eating squirrels. I felt like a nut, and that's where we then literally turn into a nut and get chased by these rabid squirrels. Right, if we chosen a lot, we would have been chased by rats, and we would have been a big piece of cheese instead. But we always go for nut because we don't want to have to, you know, take the option that means moving over to the left. That wastes frames. We wouldn't want to waste frames. All right, we've got our next boss here. This is Sewer Junk, and Sewer Junk has a skip as well. It's called Flamethrower Skip. I'm going to try and set it. Up. Sewer Junk is a very, very RNG based boss. We got bad RNG there. He appeared in this location on his second rise. He can sometimes appear there on his third rise, meaning we've got a bit more time to do damage before he goes into this phase. He's going to start throwing these tentacles down and doing all of this. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get Sewer Junk to a very specific health level. One more phase should do it. That should be fine. I'm gonna wait for him to duck back down and do one more tick of damage on his way down. I'll do one more tick of damage there. Now I need to kill him I need to kill him right now. Excellent. And that's Flamethrower Skip. If I'd done any more damage to him before he went down again, he'd go into his final phase, where... Sorry? He'd go into his final phase where your flamethrower breaks. You actually get a dialogue option. He said, I almost had him dead to rights, but then my flamethrower, and you get the option of broke or exploded. If you pick exploded, it explodes and you die and you start the fight again. However, if you pick breaks apart, the flamethrower breaks, and we have to finish him off by using the little raft that we have to get close to him and punch him. But by getting him down to a certain amount of health so that we can finish him off in one phase, then we never go into that. So that was pretty good. All right, we're now in chapter 3 in the Lion's Den. We've leveled up. We're going to take healing, apply bandages and first aid kits twice as fast because we want to go fast. Just take one bit of XP from that guards. And here we're and that's it. That's the only time during a speed run we will hear Apache. So the game on PC includes a community creator pack. Before the game's launch, the developers reached out to a bunch of content creators and asked if they wanted to be in the game. So by putting various different codes into the code box at the start of the game. Oh, that guard's already seen me. This is a very interesting room. We don't want to get an alert in this room because anytime you get an alert, all of the doors lock and you get ambushed. So there's certain rooms where if you get spotted by one of the guards, you're going to, really have a bad time. But because the guard patterns are random, it means whenever we go into one of those rooms, you have to assess the room straight away. You can't just you can't just learn the route for this room. Those guards could have been in any position, and you just have to learn to deal with it. Now, in easy, it's not too bad. In normal, it gets harder, and in hard, it gets even harder. And that's not the worst room for it. We've got a few more of those rooms to deal with throughout the run. But it's what makes the game a bit more interesting. It's not as simple as learning it and just going, right, in this room you do this, 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 and this in exactly this order, in exactly this position. You have to, every time you run the game, you have to apply some thought process to how am I going to get through the next room. These rooms, on the other hand, we just ignore all these drones. We don't have to do anything. All right, we're coming up to our next boss. This is Megatron. And we're going to try and take out Megatron in 2 cycles. That was cycle 1. And that was cycle 2. Perfect. We'll try and take out these boxes whilst we wait for that.
Boss defeated.
So to give you an idea of the difference between the difficulty levels, that boss on hard, so that took 2 cycles. That boss on hard takes 6 to 7 cycles. Right. Does everyone remember their high school chemistry? Because we're going to make some chloroform, and everyone knows that you make chloroform by mixing chlora with form, and that gets us chloroform. Come on, guys. It's simple GCSE high school science. Right, we're gonna run all the way back through the drones once again. Gonna keep rolling because we're slower whilst there's enemies on screen. And this is probably a good point if there's any messages or anything that Thedmpanda wants to read out.
Yes, just don't mix flora with clone, because that doesn't work at all.
No, don't do that.
Yeah. We have some incentives upcoming that still need donations to make them happen. We have a boost versus vault jump in hot lava. That is a bid war with currently no donations. So if you want to pick whether we're boosting or vaulting, get a donation in now. We have the glitch exhibition for Superliminal, and that's at $10 out of 200. Forget or forgive Lisa in the world next door. Again, no donations, so if you want to forgive her, donate. If you want to forget her, donate. And our grand incentive, see the service doggo. The runner of Death Star has a service doggo, and he will bring him on stream for just a combined total of $500. Back to you.
Thank you. Everyone loves doggos. All right. Unfortunately, I had to do a load there because I got spotted. I accidentally unequipped this thermal suit. As you can see, every time I put this thermal suit, you see some lasers. We don't see those lasers on hard. Another difference between some of the difficulties. But if we get spotted by these lasers, we just get completely swarmed by guards, and it's very difficult to deal with. So it's easy to just quickly take the load. Slight time loss, but it's not a big one. Just going to make our way through these sections here. Jesse can't do anything whilst he's wearing this suit. It's a very, very fragile, basically a tin foil suit that just masks his heat signature, which is why he can get past all of these lasers. And we're going to make our way through here. We're going to do a skip called Chloroform Skip. This is a skip that's actually completely intended by the developers. So what we just did there's a mechanic in the game where if you use the chloroform on yourself, then Jesse sniffs it and falls asleep. He gets captured by guards and gets taken back to there. As I say, it's a completely intended mechanic by the developers. The developers just didn't think about how much time we were going to save. So we use it at a very, very opportune moment to get back to this section very, very quickly. And then what I did after using it is I combined it with a handkerchief to create a chloroform handkerchief, which is an item we're going to use. I'm not going to use that item until chapter 8 now. All right, we have our next boss. This is Lieutenant Marcusson. We're going to roll to avoid some damage from those guys. We're going to shoot him once and then just punch these 2 guys out. Now, you might be wondering, why am I punching those guards out rather than just shooting them? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. Marcusson takes exactly 10 hits.
Defeated. I shot.
Oh, I need to heal him. I need to heal Marcuson, and he was in a very awkward spot where Jesse wouldn't heal him. So, as I said before, Jesse isn't a mercenary, he's not a soldier, he's not an assassin, which means he refuses to kill anyone. So if we ever shoot a guard or an enemy and do lethal damage to them, we have to heal them. We have to heal them using our own health kits. So those two guards at the start of that, when we first started running this game, we used to shoot them both straight away. Sorry, my chair's ducked down a little bit. We used to shoot them both straight away. But then we'd have to use 2 health kits to heal them, and we'd also have to reload during the fight against Marcuson. Alright. We've just hit level 4, which is a really good time. We're going to take Rolling Thunder. We can roll quicker. Now, this is a minefield, and that is a minefield. But we didn't hit any mines. The way the minefields work in this, and there's a third minefield just here. The way the minefields work in this is that if you reload your save, you will have the same minefield as the last run you did. So I have always had the same minefield. If you just if you just start a new game immediately upon launching the game, you will get a random minefield the moment you move in. But as long as we load the same save as the last time we used it, we'll always have the same minefield. So it's really easy to get through. The mines are different on each difficulty. So I have a minefield prepared for easy. I have a different minefield prepared for hard. It's one of the reasons I needed to know well ahead of time whether or not the incentive had been met, because otherwise I'd have had to load up a hard save ready so that I could get through that minefield instead. It skips about 5 or 6 minutes of the game getting through the minefield without being spotted, because there's a whole section with there's a boss we skip, and we have to go and get a mine detector. There's like a whole underground little base bit, and unfortunately it's a really, really good boss. It's called Turret Storm. And it requires some very quick movement and getting around, shooting these little turrets very, very quickly. It's a really cool boss, but sadly, as I say, we completely skip it. You might have been wondering the weird route that I just took through there. If you take a wrong move whilst going through the jungle there, you go right back to where the body was that we found earlier. I'll grab another stamina. That's our 4th stamina. That one's probably the freest stamina in the game. Just punch that tree. And that's the end of Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is a very, very short one because of that minefield skip. So we're doing pretty well. 20 minutes, 4 stages done. On to stage 5 at the barracks. And this is a chapter where normally in a casual run the game would expect you to be very, very sneaky. We're not going to do that. We're going to get spotted straight away. Ow, I'm going to get shot. But that'll be fine. We're just going to keep rolling and keep moving through this very very quickly. Now, remember what I said before about if you get spotted by a guard and get given an alert, all of the doors will lock. Well, as you can see, I've got a yellow exclamation mark in the bottom right. It's just turned to a yellow question mark. It means we're only on a caution. We're not actually on an alert. If you get spotted by a guard, as long as you move off the screen that you're currently on before he has time to start a call on his radio, you won't go into an alert. You will only go into a caution. So just before I got that alert, I made sure that. See, now I'm going to get an alert, but that's fine. Don't need to worry about that. I'm moving on to the next boss anyway. Oh, those guards just tagged me. All right, next boss. This is Machine Mike. Just gonna wait for him to shoot all of those. 1, 2, 3. Lovely.
Boss defeated.
Nice easy boss, Machine Mike. Could afford to take a little bit of damage there. I'm actually just gonna grab one grenade, just because that was really that sandbag was really low. I knew I could get a grenade from it. So I actually used one too many grenades in that fight, because I want to use 2 grenades there to blow those up. We now have the rocket launcher, So we can shoot the tank with the rocket launcher. Have to shoot the tank from behind. If we shoot the tank from ahead of us, then we don't do enough damage. So I'm just gonna wait here. There are some grenades behind this truck, so I'm gonna wait for the tank to shoot this. Grab these grenades. Throw the grenades at these 3 boxes. Excellent. I hit all 3 boxes. Wait for it to shoot that. And now we can finish the boss off. And that's Splash Mike.
Boss defeated.
Take a very deliberate route in that to grab more grenades, and also we finish the fight with 1 rocket as well, which is really important for a boss later on. So that's stage 5. That's halfway through. Well, the second half is slightly longer than the first half, but not by much. So we have 1 grenade and 1 rocket, which is why we route that fight specifically in that order. We're going to use that 1 grenade here very quickly. We're going to blow up loads of boxes with it, because we're going to need all of these grenades and health kits in this stage. Stage 6 is a bit of a slowdown. It's a bit of a break, but you see these engineers working on these. They're controlling the buzzsaw that's there, so I have to blow them all up, and that stops the buzzsaw. And as I said before, Jesse can't kill anyone, so we've done lethal damage to these guys, so we then have to go and heal them. So quickly heal those guys. We've got 1 more set of these engineers to get through. Let's quickly grab those items. Throw 1 there. Throw 1 there. And heal these guys. There we go. If you don't heal them and they bleed out, you just get a game over, and you just have to restart from your last checkpoint and get the last set of files. And that submarine, we're going to see that submarine again very shortly. There's going to be a whole little underwater section with a submarine. It's going to be very jolly and jaunty. It's a lovely section. Oh, don't! I should not punch those missiles. They will explode. So we're going to get in the submarine. We're going to have this nice little submarine section. Now, normally underwater sections in games, usually, everyone knows the stigma behind underwater sections in games, but this submarine section is actually really, really nice. The submarine controls really well. It's not the section isn't overly long. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And the pacing of this game is really, really rewarding. It does a really good job of knowing, when you've just had a really big action set piece. Like the previous level, we were rolling through and running through really, really quickly, and then we had 2 sort of really intense boss fights. So the game thinks, right, let's just slow things down a bit, give you a bit of a break, before we move on to the next sort of major challenge, which it's going to throw at us next. The next chapter has what I consider to be, and what many consider to be, the hardest boss in the game. Luckily, as we're only on easy, it's not too difficult a boss. It's just gonna make our way through here. We've got to shoot these mines so that we can get through. So we shoot those down that pipe to blow those up. Shoot that one. A couple more mines to throw, and then we do have a boss here in the underwater section. Probably the easiest boss of the game. His name is Huge Eel, and the reason his name is Huge Eel is because he is a huge eel. So let's say hello to Huge Eel. There he is. Hi, Huge Eel. Just gonna shoot. As soon as he disappears, I can shoot my next one. Always appears in the pipe that you're in front of. So just gotta do a little dance with him. Huge Eel is one boss. There's no RNG for Huge Eel. It's as I say, probably the easiest boss in the game.
Boss defeated.
And we are level 5, which is perfect timing. This is the exact moment we should be leveling up. Because of the RNG nature of guards, you'll level up throughout your runs. You'll level up at different times. But it is important that you stay on top of it, because we need to be level 6 before the end of the game. So usually, if you're hitting level 5 on beating Huge Eel, then you're doing fine.
Under the
In this section, we've got to get some monies. Each of these bundles is $10 million. We're going to use that to buy a boat and escape. I'm going to get another 10 million here. I'm going to get some grenades. And then we're going to escape this boat. This is one of the more notorious rooms for getting spotted. As is this one. So I need to make my way over here very quickly and make sure that neither of these start their radio call. That's fine. That's all good. That's all good. That can be a very, very scary couple of rooms. So we're going to buy this boat. There we go. We just paid $50 million for this boat. We can escape. And the boat's been struck by lightning. Just going to load there so that I get all my health back. I'm going to get a grenade from this guard. Going to get a grenade from here. Just going to try and avoid that damage. Grenade from there. I'm going to get a grenade from this box here. And I'm going to throw one grenade here and get 2 grenades here. It just means I get through that bit a bit quicker. All right, the hardest boss in the game. This is Nuclear Sub. Yep, we're going to fight a submarine. Luckily, it's no match for Jesse. He's a master of all armaments. So we're just gonna throw grenades at him and just avoid these shots. Cool, nearly done. And that was Nuke Sub. We've refilled our ammo as well. We are now at max rockets and max grenades, which is really nice. But Chapter 7 really likes to throw it at us. Not one boss, not one vehicular-based boss, but 2 vehicular-based bosses. So the next boss is just around the corner. We're going to get a boat. We are going to get a boat to try and escape. Unfortunately, not out into the ocean, but along a river instead. We're going to use this boat. It's run out of gas, so we're going to fill it with this gas. And we're now going to fight a helicopter. This is Black Thunder. So I arrange myself over to the right-hand side and immediately move over to the left to start shooting him. Black Thunder's movements and him dropping these bombs isn't random. The river is random. It is possible to do that boss in 2 sort of waves over. But because the river is random, we just have to deal with whatever the river throws at us. So it was a little slow, that boss, but got through it without dying, which is always the most important bit. So talked about the pacing earlier, and again, this is another really good example of it. This is Chapter 8. In casual runs, and when people first start running, they hate this level because it's very, very slow. Or at least it used to be really, really slow until I discovered one optimization. That load. So in the level coming up, there are a bunch of cameras, and this is the one level in the game where it does matter about stealth. We're not allowed to get spotted by a single camera. Jesse, in his story to the officers who have him and are interrogating him, Jesse tells them that whilst he was in here, he never once got spotted. So if at any point we get spotted by one of these cameras and raising the alarm, then we get a game over and we have to reload our save. Luckily, that load that I did just after I reached the gate for the first time completely resets all of the cycles of the cameras in here and means we can get through them very, very quickly. So you'll see whenever I come to a new camera, it will move out of the way pretty quickly. So this camera here will move over to the left. As I move into the next screen, I'll be able to go straight behind the box. There we go, straight behind this box as the camera moves over. So just that one, loading that one save, it makes so much difference here. Bit of RNG moment there. Good. That guard is RNG, and that guard can just look to his left. Ooh, that was close. I got a little caught there, but luckily just managed to get around the corner. Yeah, that guard can completely ruin this chapter. by just turning and looking. So I'm going to get 12 electromagnetic grenades here. I'm going to throw one at that camera, grab that stamina. By doing that, that camera's going to be out of the way for us. Get perfect cycles. It makes this chapter very, very swift. Throw one there. We're just making our way through the base, throwing electromagnetic grenades at all of these cameras. Couple more rooms to go. Throw one at this one, and then we have like a little puzzle here. We have to get through the door over there. And there's a guard on a buzzer. And when you first do this casually, you kind of just have to keep sort of doing trial and error to work out what it is you got to do. What it is we actually have to do is combine that pizza. Know that it's a pepperoni pizza because we used the item when we picked it up, and trick the guard into letting us in thinking that we're a delivery person. All right, chapter 9. This is the longest chapter. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the hardest chapter, but it kind of is the hardest chapter. Chapter 7's up there as well. We're going to go for Scandinavian guards. Scandinavian guards here are very, very burly. You can't take them out very easily. They have a lot more health. So we're just gonna run. Gonna shoot that and go down here. We're gonna get a very, very important secret because we've got another skip coming up. This is the blood bag, as you may have noticed or not noticed, because I haven't really used any health kits throughout this run. When you use a health kit in this game, it doesn't heal Jesse. It starts a regen process. So he doesn't heal a flat amount of health. He just starts regenerating. If you're taking damage whilst regenerating, you'll stop. So we're going to go into what we call the red room. And in the red room, we're constantly taking radiation damage. So because we're constantly taking radiation damage, we can't use a health kit. Now what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to go left. In the room that we're in here, we're supposed to go left. And that would lead us to a rad suit. Whilst we're in the rad suit, we don't take any radiation damage. I've just used a potty, which is a portable save, just so in case this goes awry. So you can see I'm now constantly taking damage. But I'm gonna have to load. The potty is the blood bag is the exception. The blood bag will heal Jesse back to full health immediately. I need to get around that spider bot without it shooting me. If you take a hit in this, you are dead. In fact, I'm dead anyway. The spider bots are in random locations, so I do have to move very quickly. There we go. No dawdling there. Right, use the blood bag now. We're good. I'm good, I'm through. This is the last room. Woo! And that's red room. It's a bit tricky. The more stamina you have for that, the easier it becomes because we've got more health to tank. I'm out of electromagnetic grenades. I'm gonna have to take this alert. I'm gonna have to take this alert and just see it out. Luckily, this is a relatively safe spot and the guards can't really do anything.
Base, area is clear.
Cool, I can just start making my way through. As you can see, the door down there is locked. I can't go through it, but now I can. Cool, so lost a bit of time there just waiting for that. Take that card out. Very important here that I don't get another alert. Because my previous save is the potty before the red room. I don't have another save to come back to. Luckily, the next save is right here, and we're now safe. If anything goes wrong now, we go back to there. So yeah, there is I could have replenished my electromagnetic grenades earlier, and I should have done. I didn't realize I was quite so low. But it's all right. It's not a huge loss. We're going to ignore floor 3 and going to go straight up to the roof. Start healing. And out here on the roof, we're going to come across a ticket out of here. I'm going to grab these wires though, just in case. Going to grab these metal clamps. They might come in handy later. Don't know. They are going to come in handy. There's a helicopter on the roof, and we're going to use that to escape. Unfortunately, the helicopter hasn't got a key, so we're going to have to come back to it. The helicopter is just on the... there it is. There's the helicopter. There is also a guidance system that controls rockets. We need to take that guidance system out first as well. So we're going to use metal clamps and our crowbar to deal with this. The sequence is always the same. There is some a guide you get in one of the items, but it's always the same sequence. There we go. If you do a wrong move here, it blows up and you have to do it again. But luckily, as I say, the sequence is always the same. Cool. So we've taken out the communications tower. So now Jesse thinks, yay, we can get in the helicopter and ride away to freedom. There's a lot of false moments in this game where it looks like it's coming to an end, but it doesn't. There we go. He realizes that the helicopter needs a key, so we're now going to go and find the key. But we'll be back here later. So now we're going to make our way to what is one of the most notorious sections of this game, floor 3. So floor 3 has some very special guards. They're called Japanese guards. They're very, very weak. You can knock them out in only one punch, or in one... Hang on. There we go. Or with one slingshot. However, their perception is very, very high. Let's punch him. They can see 180 degrees around them, rather than 90 degrees like most guards. Just going to take... No! Gotta load. They can also call their radios very, very quickly. Luckily on easy, you do have a slight... there is a small amount of time that you have before they will call it in. On hard, the moment you get spotted by one of them, then you're done. You have to load straight away.
Mike.
No, I'm gonna load. That's why we potty there. Give ourselves a portable save.
Mike.
Unfortunately, as I've talked about before, the random nature.
Escaping prisoner.
No, load potty. See, the random nature of this game makes this is why this room is particularly notorious. Been spotted again. Oh, this is... I might just have to just try and deal with it. I'm gonna try and just deal with it. Luckily, as I said, they only take one punch to take out. So if I just stand at the edge of the screen like this... If I just keep going... Heal. Unfortunately, I can't go anywhere until the alerts run out, but oh no, there's still one there. There we go. Phew. Okay, I'm gonna quickly... there's a save here. I need to use it in order to get my health back for the next boss. Whew, that was scary. Alright, this is the next boss, Takuma. Luckily, Takuma is really easy. We're just gonna... That whole room's just completely blown my rhythm. Takuma is a very easy boss. I just didn't quite get the right rhythm. All I'm going to do is shoot him. And then shoot him with a rocket. And luckily, Takuma, we get a save point the moment we kill Takuma, so we can then just load it to skip the boss defeated section. Cool. We're through. We're through one of the... That normally goes a lot better than that. That was quite an awkward room setup. The potties are absolutely invaluable for this section. because we wouldn't have to reload and go all the way back to the start of this section every time. But it's one that whole section, this whole room, is one thing that really throws new runners off, and you can see why. Normally it is a lot smoother than that. Right, we are nearly at the end of this chapter. So this chapter is really, really long, and it throws so much at you. We've got one more sort of big mechanic coming up before the chapter is done. We're going to grab these night vision goggles, which we couldn't have grabbed earlier because we didn't have the key card for this door. We didn't have card 4. We're now going to make our way down to the basement. And the basement is spooky and dark. It's got ghosts in it. And we're going to have to avoid those ghosts. However, they are ghosts that can be shot. This wizard guy here,
welcome to the basement,
is voiced by the game's creative assistant, Jack Lafia, who I've spent a great deal of time talking to and rooting the game, and I spend quite a lot of time with Jack Lafia on talking about this game, patches, done some testing for them on dev builds and things like that. We have a very good relationship with them, between the devs and the Metal Gear speedrunning community. You may notice again, I'm taking what looks like a very weird route. You'll see there's these little markings on the floor. We got a map from the last engineer just after the last boss that I took out, and that map shows us which direction we can go in. Luckily, it is always the same. If I went the wrong way, I would fall through a pitfall and we'd have to start this whole section again. So luckily, it's always the same, and I've run this so many times that I know exactly which way to go. It's just going to make our way past all these ghosts. Could take the chance on some of these, but going to play it safe for the most part. Nearly done. Take that one out. I can avoid that one. That one's not going to chase me. And we'll quickly take that one out. I've got one last ghost here. I'll take him out. And that is chapter 9. We have one chapter to go. Escape complete. So we're still looking for the helicopter keys. We still haven't found the helicopter keys yet. That's what we're doing here in the basement. Now, guys, you remember the chloroform earlier and the science that we put behind that? How do you think you might make C4? What components might you need to make C4? And if you're noticing that I'm...
C7, isn't it?
You may already notice that I'm picking up pieces of C1. Yep, we're going to find 4 pieces of C1, and we're going to combine those together to make C4. We're also going to get a watch, and that's going to allow us to put a timer on it. There we go, C3, C4, C4 with a timer. Easy. You can do it at home. Don't do that at home. Don't try and make C4 at home. I'm pretty sure there are government watch lists that will stop you from doing that. Right. This is the very early on in the run I talked about getting stamina, and a trick we did right at the end. There's a trick that we used to do here which was called Death March. We had enough health to be able to just tank these guards, but we found that the amount of time we saved in this section was not making up the amount of extra time we were spending grabbing stamina. So we just don't do it anymore, and we just go to the edge as the guards come onto the screen, punch them off. This is Colonel Harris, by the way. This is the guy we've been talking to on the radio the whole time. I'm going to drop him there. I'm going to go into General X's secret armory and fill up on ammo for the final boss. We're going to need a lot of it. Final boss is in 3 sections. We're going to fight some drones. Then we're going to fight a tank. Some would say it looks like a little if I can get my words out. It looks like a mini Metal Gear. And then finally we're going to fight General X himself. We've got no health kits, which is perfect. We can't go into this fight with health kits. Throughout this fight, you'll notice my items start disappearing. General X is invisible. He's got a stealth suit. So he's already taken my rusty wire. Not my rusty wire. Not my empty bottle. What would I do without these items? So yes, whilst you're fighting these sections, he's running around invisible, stealing your items. And in the phase where we actually fight General X, if we've got a health kit, he will steal a health kit and go back to full health. I'm going to take out this tank nice and quickly. Just throw some grenades at it. There we go. Phase 2 over. And the final phase, I'm going to try and do a one cycle on him. Throw. And one cycle the final boss. Really nice. And that is time! Sorry, I should have given you a bit more of a heads up about when time was coming.
Don't worry about it, I was watching.
That is it. Our in-game time is 47 minutes and 12 seconds.
For a RTA of 4840.
Fantastic. That is, I did have live split running. That was nearly 4 minutes behind PB because that stage 9 section with the guards really threw me off and lost quite a bit of time. But underestimate is always good. Yeah, that is UnMetal. I will. There's a little bit of a just a closing bit. We have to convince Colonel Harris to let us be the one to pilot the helicopter that's going to get shot down. We convince him by punch him in the face. So I'll let the credits roll out just as I close out. So thank you all very much for watching and donating to Indiethon. I hope you're having fun and look forward to the rest of the runs. I've been NickRPGreen. UnMetal is an independent game, but as far as speedrunning is concerned, it got taken under the mantle of the Metal Gear speedrunning community. It is a fantastic community full of runners of all the Metal Gear games, but if you do want to learn UnMetal, please check it out on speedrun.com. You'll find links to the Metal Gear speedrunning server on Discord. We have a wiki. I've got tutorials for it. Always great to get new people in and running the game. So, check it out. MetalGearSpeedrunners.com. Thank you very much for having me. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for that.